Good morning, Saturday morning, slightly later this morning, so normally I'm here on at about 7 o'clock. Hopefully some of you guys are awake. It's a bit cold outside. Weather seems to have significantly dropped over the last, 3 or 4 days. I just wanted to jump on and talk about something that I've been noticing with not just clients, but people in general over the last couple of weeks, places like cafes, restaurants, etc., is a little bit about mental health, and some of the things that I'm seeing coming around. There seems to be a lot of stress, fear, and anxiety still in the space. Now, the main thing that I'm really seeing is that there's a concern of not knowing. There's a concern of not knowing whether your job is secure, not knowing whether your business is secure, not knowing whether you're going to be going to school the next day, or your kids are going to the school the next day, or you're going to work the next day, or you're not going to work the next day, or there's a new law that says you have to wear a mask, or there's a law that just says you don't have to wear a mask, or you're going to a funeral and you can't go to the funeral. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Now, what I'm noticing is people are a little bit more uptight, they're a little bit more opinionated, they're a little bit more snappy than what they might be normally. And also I'm actually personally, what I'm seeing is it's coming out in people's physicalities more. Like I'm seeing more headaches, I'm seeing more back pain, I'm seeing more dizziness than what I would normally see. And there are some really simple things that so many of us could do that could potentially encourage and help some of our colleagues during what is probably the most difficult time that any human being has ever had to live in, ever, because we've got this constant stream of information being flooded to us, not only by the news and the media, but all of our colleagues and our friends, because everybody has got an opinion of what is going on. And so it really comes and boils down to a few things that people can do in order to help and respect other people. The first thing is just simply take note that everybody is stressed right now. Absolutely. I don't think there's anybody on the planet who hasn't been affected by what is going on in some way, shape, or form. Whether that's in a good or a bad way. I mean, there'll be some people that have benefited from this current situation. However, not all areas of their life will have benefited. They still aren't allowed to socialize. They still aren't allowed to go into pubs and clubs and restaurants, etc. And so the first thing we should really be doing is being courteous of other people and how they potentially feel of what is going on. Number one, because stress, physical stress, mental stress, and chemical stress all have an impact on the way that our physicalities, our body actually works. So again, I can prove this to you. If you think about the last argument you ever had with someone and what happened to your heart rate, we know that your physical manifestations of that argument would have been stuff like your heart rate would have gone up, your breathing rate would have gone up, your muscle tone would have changed, because your body responds to stresses in the environment. So number one, just be courteous about what people's opinions are, and be courteous of the fact that they're stressed, because you may not have the same opinion as them, but it doesn't matter, because they are not you, and you're living in your reality and they're living in theirs. Question, but don't ram your opinions at them, because like I say, not everyone is going to agree with what is going on, but ramming your opinion on someone or forcing your opinion on someone tends to make them put their walls up. Whereas if you question someone as to why they believe that, then maybe you can start to understand what their space they are coming from. 2, really, like I say, support your colleagues and your friends. This, like I say, if someone in your family or someone is struggling with mental health, be there and listen to them. Do not, like I say, ram opinions. It will put someone's walls up. But really, probably for me, the most important thing is that when we are in a time of stress, or when our body is stressed, or when our mind is stressed, what we really need to understand is that is the time where we need to look after our physicality at the most important time. So if we're under high stress, this is the time that we should be looking after our diet. This is the time that we should be looking after our exercise routine. This is the time that we should be looking after our social well-being, because these are the things that will help to actually change anxiety and depression. Anxiety and depression has been pretty much linked to changes in exercise patterns. You can actually change or reduce the risks of depression by up to 30 to 50% just by exercise alone. Stuff like your diet, stuff like cherries, dark chocolate, these kinds of foods actually have precursors for the hormone serotonin. And so by actually eating certain foods, this is potentially why people become chocoholics, because the cocoa actually produces serotonin in our body and it can actually give you that feel-good hormones. So actually by eating whole and good foods, and I'm not saying go out and eat tons and tons of milk chocolate because that stuff is full of sugar, but actually cocoa, and unrefined cocoa especially, can actually be linked to improving people's mood. So looking after our physical health, our mental health, taking care and doing some stuff to actually look after ourselves is super, super important as well. Now, really the final thing for me is probably do not watch all of the news. Not all of it. Don't watch it every single day. Don't watch the news first thing in the morning and then again at lunchtime and then again in the evening, because all you're really doing is flooding yourself with the negative information. By all means, stay up to date with the news, but I probably wouldn't recommend doing it every day because the information isn't changing that much, but the news is essentially holding on to certain things. And they sell newspapers by fear, anger, and anxiety. They sell newspapers by fear, anger, and anxiety at the moment. And so by constantly watching that news, you're potentially going to run yourself into a very difficult position where you feel anxious and fearful from the information you're getting. And also, if you're going to go and watch the news and then going to go on Facebook, what you're going to get is contrasting in opinions. You're going to get contrasting in opinions. And as a result, then you can start to become really confused and you don't even know what information is real. So guys, mental health, really, 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 really important right now. But like I say, with mental health, there's some really key things you want to make sure. Don't go out stressing other people out. Look, I've done it. I've said stuff to people and it's made them twitch. You know, I've done it. I've pulled on a heartstring. I don't know how, but we've done it. And we've all done it to someone in the last couple of months. And I've had the same thing. Someone said something to me that's super trivial and I've freaked out, okay? And I have to admit, I don't suffer with mental health, but in the last 6 months, this is the first time that I've ever noticed stress, anxiety, and minor areas of depression in my life. And I can honestly say that is something I've never understood until the last 6 months. So be courteous of other people's opinions. And like I said, don't overfeed your brain. Don't overfeed your brain. Look after yourselves. If you need anything, this is the time to be looking after yourself physically, because trust me, emotional stresses manifest physically. I'll see you again soon. Take care.